Well, there's a lot of Canadian wine open in front of me right now, Carl Boucher.
A lot, a lot.
So stay tuned. We're going to go live here and we'll be chatting Canadian wine and what? Celebrating our Winery of the Year awardees and more. So stay tuned.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Winkel members, Mira Boucher, everyone across the country. It's Wednesday. It's Wine Wednesday. It's time to crack open a nice bottle of Canadian wines and enjoy some relaxing time with Carl and Mira. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Yeah, there you go. You look like a real Mira.
5 glasses of Canadian wine. Work documents here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like your little lemon tree behind you. They looks like they're growing. We're gonna make some lemonade soon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome everyone. I would love to know where you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from, and what's in your glass, because I know 3 of my wines and 2 I don't have a clue. It's my blind tasting of the week. In my glass in front of me, I have 3 Chardonnays. Malivoire Wine Company from the Beamsville bench have provided a beautiful box of samples, and I'm digging it in, and I am happy as shit because there's a bunch of Chardonnay in here. And in front of me, I have Mira Vineyard 2021, Mira Vineyard 2022, and the Forgotten Row 2022 as well. So yeah, 3 shards and 1 from the same vineyard, 2 different vintage, and 1 from a different vineyard. So different block of vineyard, I should say. So it's going to be a fun one. We're going to taste some Chardonnay. You're going to put some, I don't know what, in 2 different glasses here. So it's going to be a fun one. We are going to talk about the 4th edition of our Winery of the Year recipient, Ontario and BC. It was a fun weekend of voting for our Winery of the Years. So it's really exciting. We are going to talk about that and more. Mira, how are you doing today?
Great. How are you, Carl Boucher?
I'm doing great. Cannot complain. I think Daryl has a nice self glow in his glass. So the powerhouse of Pinot Noir, Clausen Chase, and our friend Keith Tyre. Keith, if you listen, have a happy Wine Wednesday. Hope you're doing well, brother. Daryl, that's a great pour that you have in your glass. Curious to know how is the 2020s evolving now. Let us know on a scale of 100, what is your rating at the moment? I am intrigued to see the progression of that wine. I may have a bottle left in the cellar. So, yeah.
Very nice. So it's kind of a Chardonnay theme tonight with you too, Carl?
Mm-hmm.
We have like 3 shards. So we have to give a big shout out to Dylan Warfel, a member here in the Okanagan and Cavell. We had a hockey tournament this last weekend, and it was the last one, and it was an hour and a bit away from here, which is just long enough that it's a real pain in the ass and not long enough that you think you need to spend money on a hotel. Anyway, Dylan was
And
very
more than that, Mira, it's more than the hour and 15, hour and a half. It's just about how the darn schedule fell.
yeah, it was
Like a
them-
game at 10 a.m. on Friday and another game at 7:30. I mean, if you don't get a hotel, what do you do between 10 and 7? In a Soyuz
in Osoyoos.
in
So
March. No, in March. I mean, with a
kids,
bunch of,
kids.
so you're like, okay. And the other
Yeah.
game is on Saturday morning. And after that, you're playing only on Sunday. I mean, like, there was like the schedule, it was a really shitty draw. So
we're very grateful to Dylan and Cavell, who said, hey, we've got a place down there and no one's in it this weekend. And we got to crash at their place. And it was glorious. Glorious. So there's some glorious wines coming your way, you guys, as a thank you. We so appreciated that. Yeah. And then I also had an interesting incident at the border there in Osoyoos where Carl actually made me call the cops about this. I went
so
to
let's put it that way. Mira is looking for pancake in early morning. So she drive by Dairy Queen just to check. Maybe Dairy Queen is open and they sell breakfast. When someone at the microphone say, hi, can I get your order?
Well, I thought it was weird because the lights were all off and on the hours sign at the front, all the hours were blocked out. So you couldn't see what their hours are. So I thought I'll just pull up to the drive-thru and obviously if they're open, they're going to talk to me. And it's a very old location, like, you know, one of those megaphone style little things that goes right to the inside. And yeah, a young kid was like, hey there, can I, are you collecting points right now? And I was like, no, I'm not. Do you have breakfast right now? And then silence. And then I'm like, that's weird. I was like, hello. I drove around to the window and it looked completely closed, like dead, dark, nothing in there. I looked up on Google and it said they don't open for 2 more hours. So I'm thinking that's weird. Did I just hear a voice in my head somehow? And I'm like, no, that's not, no. And I went around again and nothing. So I thought, okay, well, either there's a kid there really early for their shift or dramatic music. This is a front for drug dealers or something, because I look around, I'm like, the border's right there. The border's right there. And when I was in high school, that's how the drug dealers operated. They got a job at a freaking drive-through, A&W usually. And in Victoria, BC, that's what it was. So you knew I never did it, but I knew friends. They're like, oh, I'm going to go to the drive-through. And they would just slip them some drugs there. Anyway, so I got home and I'm kind of freaked out by this. Hey, Rick, nice to see you. And so I tell Carl and he's like, oh, you got to call that into the police. I'm like, what am I going to say? I heard a voice at the drive-through before they were open. Like, go investigate. They're open now. So, but I guess he was right. I was like, well, what if they have an open file about this and it might be a useful tip, right? So I called them and they said, thanks for your tip, Miss Boucher. And their explanation was a lot of drive-thrus now apparently have AI that talks to you instead of real humans. I was like, this place hasn't been renovated since like 1960. I don't think it has any AI, but I was like, that's fine.
yeah, that's funny because in that whole story, which has nothing to do about Canadian wines, but man, that I had the fun part was she tells the story to the kid, and my 10-year-old says, before even she mentioned anything about drug, she just mentioned about the voice and collecting points at 9 a.m. And my 9-year-old said, Mom, this is a drug front.
Well, after I said that, it wasn't open. There was no one in there, but anyway,
oh, that is
I didn't know
too
the
funny.
secret passcode or whatever. So, so the South Clos Chardonnay, much better than the Pinot Noir last night. Oh, we want to know about that Pinot Noir. I wonder what happened.
There you go.
Daryl, where you had that issue. Yeah, well, let's see if we can get that fixed. We'll chat. Good nose, good mid palate, but the tail's off a touch short on length. Is this the same one we had, Carl, the 2020 South Clos that we were like head over heels, or was it a different vintage? Oh, this is the Pinot Noir tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would have to review to revisit and probably review that
Chardonnay.
wine. Yeah. It was also, it's the last year, the one we had was the church side. The last South Clos that I lost my mind on, it was the 2019. 2020 South Clos was good, but I believe that the church side was a bit more precise, to my opinion. I have to review my notes on the South Clos Pinot Noir versus the
Well, I'll tell you in a second. I'll be your research.
the Chardonnay. So yeah. So Daryl, tell me more about your last night Pinot. I haven't followed social media today. Maybe
Well, is that the one with the that might have had a bit of a smokish flavor from the barrel potentially? Because we found out that they smoke their own barrels, which is interesting.
Who? What? Who? What?
Claus and Chase.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Claus and Chase doesn't smoke barrels. I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
here,
there's
but...
some trail in our group, in the VIP group, about this. Anyway, I don't know this much about wine. I thought it was kind of interesting, but anyways, what's in your glass, Carl Boucher?
So what I have here, we're talking about Mira Vineyard Chardonnay 2021 and 2022 side by side. So Malivoire, VQA Beamsville Bench, the 2021 and the 2022. So what I can say about these two, it's okay. So sorry, Daryl had the Butler's Grant Westcott last night. Okay, so a little disappointed on that front. So sorry to hear about that.
We haven't tasted that one in a while.
Yeah. My last big haul from Westcott was the Clone 76 or Block 76 Chardonnay, which made our top 10 wine of the year last year. It was the 2021 vintage, one of the best 21 Chardonnay out there, the Clone 76, Block 76 Chardonnay. That's my last. Whoa, oh my God, this one is absolutely wonderful. So I haven't tasted Westcott in a while. I got an email last week from Jessica at Westcott, just checking in and see how we are doing here at Carl's Wine Club and all of that. Also, Foreign Affair reached out. So these are all potential future partner for Carl's Wine Club for the down the road this year. Vineland Estate is another option. Obviously, Malivoire will be, and it's in the schedule coming soon. So we have some fun stuff coming up with Malivoire. I freaking love their wine. I had the chance to spend time with Shiraz Motiar. Am I saying his last name properly? Probably.
So.
Hopefully. Yeah, in Montreal in November at La Grande Dégustation. Great guy, fun guy to be with. We featured the Moira Vineyard no, that's not true. We featured the Courtney Block Gamay in our advent calendar. I have three of the great Chardonnay here. 21 versus 22. I mean, these are by definition very distinctive vintage. 21, 22, very different. I feel in what I'm tasting, there's a little bit more precision, a little bit more flavor definition. In the 22, a little bit more flintiness on the finish, a little bit more salinity. And the 21 is a little bit more seductive in a sense that the wild ferment is a little bit more obvious. The lemon meringue, I like the peachy flavor of it, maybe a little bit more, can I say loose? A little bit more elegant, not as pinpoint and energetic. So a little bit different, but definitely caught from the same cloth. You can tell it's the same single vineyard, but little vintage variation here, which are a little bit apparent. So there's a little bit from the 21 versus the 22. If you ask me if I have a preference, 21's a little easier to drink and to enjoy now. 22 a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more thinking, a little bit more pause and think. But I think the 22 has something pretty special in store with that Mira vineyard. So I enjoy a lot. 22, I would say it's at least, very least 92 plus, a very, very good Chardonnay. Yeah, like the finish. I was telling Mira when I tasted it first that this wine, this Chardonnay, can be part of Thomas Batchelder portfolio, and I would not blink an eye. I mean, this is like Hidden Bench, Batchelder, Leaning Post type of quality Chardonnay. Definitely right up there with the.
So you're talking Mira Vineyard from Malivar.
Yeah.
Which is
same thing with the Forgotten Row. Same thing. It's just the Forgotten Row is a different profile. The Forgotten Row has a little bit more of. Less of the wild ferment aspect, a little bit more of a classic Chardonnay with that 25% new oak, something like that. Maybe a little bit more weight.
They're lovely. They're all very lovely. And I think, what kind of price points at Malivar for these shards?
So, woohoo! I'll catch live.
There you go.
Sketched it.
You catched it. You caught it. That's great.
Well, okay. So price point, I would say probably the Mira Vineyard, I believe it's their top line at $40. I think it's their most expensive Chardonnay. I would say the Forgotten Row is one of the new one on the lineup. And I like the finish on the Forgotten Row as well. A little bit more nutty, a little bit more classic oak. And I would say Mira is probably more in neutral oak.
Yeah, Mira seems more neutral oak, and then the Forgotten Row, the whole idea with that, I think, is more up your alley there, Daryl. The idea with that is a more plush Chardonnay. They put it in some more newer oak, and they also they call it the Forgotten Row because they leave the picking till last, so the grapes are more ripe. The alcohol level is higher in this Forgotten Row one too, right?
Yeah, it is, I believe. Here we have 13.5 in the Forgotten Row, and Mira 12.5 for the 21 and 13 for the 22. So they're in the same vicinity. Nothing too drastic, but it's stylistically they're quite different. Like definitely, if like I blind taste on the three of them side by side, you know that the two Mora are their cousin, their brother. To me, they're twins. Like,
Yeah, and as
I
far
know.
as like oak, like what Daryl's asking, Moira is meant to be more on the neutral oak side. And
Yeah, and you know that when you look at it, it's more like Mora are brothers and sisters, and the Forgotten Row are cousins. Like they're stylistically different.
Yeah.
So
and ironically, interestingly, the Forgotten Row, which has more of the new oak, is less expensive. So it's 32 including tax for Forgotten Row, and it's 40 for the Moiras.
Okay. Yeah,
What
maybe
on the bottle for the oak for the Forgotten Row.
Hey?
It does have new oak, the Forgotten Row, right? It does have some.
Yeah, I think there's close to 25% new oak, I believe, in the Forgotten Row. So, but I believe that the length, I don't think that I don't know if they're. Let me say, I can't remember how long. Can you tell me how long they are in oak? I don't think they last in oak for a long time though. But anyway, that's the technical.
Months. 9 months is what I saw on the back of Forgotten Row is 9 months.
9 months, eh?
Check it out. Yeah, I think it's right on the back label.
Yeah, no, it's not on the. Anyway, so it might be on.
Okay, I'll tell you.
It might be on the website, but anyway.
16% new.
Okay, well, it's not that much new though.
Yeah, and the rest neutral. Monthly batonnage, which is where you maybe get that more plush texture.
Yeah, it's pretty.
A year and 4 months in oak. Year and 4 months. Blended and bottled in 2023.
Anyway, stylistically different than the Tomorrow. That is for sure. I really enjoy. I would say probably my top rated is Mora 2022. My second highest rated is the Forgotten Row 21, and I will finish with my third one will be the Mora 21. With that said, I'm not sure if there's any under 92 points. Like they are really fucking good Chardonnays. They're really good. So
you're saying you rated the 2020 Moira Vineyard higher than the 21?
The 22 versus the 21. There's no 20. Yeah. So we have 21 Moira, 21 Forgotten Row, and the 22 Moira, 21, 22 in terms of the Moira.
Yeah. And you're liking the younger one. Slightly more than the older one.
I like the vintage better. I would say it that way. Because at that level, like only like 1 year difference, it's on release, right? So it's not necessarily the age effect, the aging effect, to my opinion. It's more about vintage typicity at this stage. What the reflection of that? So yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a splash in my glasses here.
Oh.
Yeah. A little bubble came right up my glasses. So
I'm just doing the Mira test. So which one is number one? Number one is the 22.
No, the one is 21. The 2 is 22.
21 and 22. Okay.
And LR is for Lost Row, Forgotten Row.
Right. So if you can see the levels, the Mira test is just all about which one I drink first, because I like it more, because I just instinctually drink that one more.
Yeah.
And I'm liking this Forgotten Row. So this is this is like not normal for me because usually I just instinctively go for the more expensive one.
I know, and something's wrong happening here.
But I think this might mean I like the oak. It's got a little bit more of that new oak. Maybe that's it. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, maybe that little slight higher alcohol gets you going here, and fun. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, no 2022 yet that I'm aware of. I don't think they
Not
released.
not yet. So it's not released yet, and I don't think that the 22 Mora is available anywhere. We are probably going to have the 22 as a exclusive free release with Carl's Wine Club. So that's what we're working on with the team at Malavoir at the moment. So, Mike, the average wine enthusiast, hello, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, great to see you, buddy. Yeah, so that's a little bit for the Chardonnay segment of the Malavoir Wine Company. So now let's talk about our winery of the year, because our members voted all weekend long. But since the last show, we had the vote open, and we closed the vote on Sunday, and that was two different kind of race. We had a neck and neck race in BC, which was crazy tight. All the way to the finish line. Holy smokes.
I'll tell you right now, like, we had 3 shortlisted wineries, and the ones that were neck and neck were Maverick and Clos du Soleil. And Clos du Soleil would have been so cool because it's in the Similkameen. We've done one club event in the Similkameen, a tailgating party in the middle of a vineyard between mountains and next to a big river. It was phenomenal. And that would have been really cool. Although windy, possibly. But in the end, just by like a smidge, by like maybe 5%. It was Malabar, or it was Maverick on the Golden Mile, right, Carl?
Absolutely.
You're Oliver.
In Oliver, the Golden Miles, absolutely. So Maverick got the nod, won the Carl's Wine Club Winery of the Year 2024. And why? I would say probably because, first and foremost, the wine selection. The quality of their wine is absolutely off the freaking chart. Mira, all-time favorite, comes from Maverick. It's the Bushvine Syrah. Absolute all-time favorite wine. So that one of the reasons, but the entire portfolio at Maverick, it's quiet, special. We have the Rubius has been one of the members' favorite, the Renegade, their flagship. In the white, their Sauv Blanc, their Rosé is consistently one of the best. Their Chardonnay is a great one. So they have an outstanding wine portfolio. They also had last year one of our top 10 wine of the year, which was the Cab Syrah. They made 95 cases of Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah, a very, very special wine.
I remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that. One, the quality of their wine. Second, I mean, their staff. Janik Rivera, the hospitality manager, is an absolute beauty. He's so fun, so pleasant, so gracious to work with, their entire team. And we had for 3 years now, some very successful features with Maverick. So, I mean, that's exactly the definition of our winery of the year. Great features, great service, and outstanding lineup portfolio of wine. So, boom. Maverick, congratulations. Now, Janik is busy processing the club order this week, so he's kind of in and out, doing a bunch of different stuff for the club for his own wine club this week. So a little hard to pin down and to have a chat about a date for a members party in Oliver. It will be a Golden Mile celebration right down in Oliver. They have an outstanding facility. So which kind of party is going to happen? So this follows suite to the pig roast at Black Market, the grape tasting at De Silva, the progressive vineyard tasting at Riverstone. Now the new concept at Maverick. So I'm pretty thrilled about that.
And we'll talk about our Ontario Winery of the Year in just a second. But I was challenging Carl. Like I've heard you guys say more and more, we like the food and wine thing, right? And funny because Carl, like this is what you were known for in the high-end restaurant world, right? Like there would literally be people flying in when they knew Carl's doing the pairings for a dinner, flying in by helicopter, landing on top of his restaurants and coming down because they knew if Carl's doing the pairings and there's a 5-star chef involved, the pairings are going to be like something else. So, but then Carl's got this weird thing where he's like, no, let's just do the wine. Who cares about the pairings? So I'm hearing more from members. Tell me if I'm right that we
That's not what I'm saying. No, you're interpreting what I'm saying in the wrong way. Okay. I'm not saying that the food is not important. I have never said that. I'm saying that I want the focus on the winery, the winemaker, the vineyard, and the product of the winery, not on the center stage on the food with the pairing around. That's what I'm saying. I would like to see at the reverse. So the winery product, that a little bit like we did last year, and I thought we had a very, very good balance. There are 3 years because like you look at Black Market, we had the hog roast. It was an outstanding showcase on Black Market. First and foremost, their location. The view was incredible. We did that incredible syndicate vertical that's never been done before. So we showcased the evolution of Black Market and Rob Amersley as a winemaker. Second, we were in his vineyard, right in the vineyard at Conviction Ridge Vineyard. So we highlighted his terroir in Caledon, and we had fun food to pair very well with the whole Black Market experience. It was not bringing from the outside a famous chef with like all the food and see which wine we can pair. I like to, with this circumstances, because it's the winery of the year, I would love to highlight the product of the winery. So,
well, of course, the conversation has to be, we have this incredible wine. What goes well with it? And let's try different things to find the perfect pairing to go with the wine, not like we have this incredible dish. Should we do a Syrah? Should we do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like chef designed a dish, and now after that, okay, here's the somm, here is the team. Okay, which wine can we pair with that?
So what I hear from you is you're rebelling against your previous life, where that's
no, I'm just catering to what we're doing. It's the celebration of the winery of the year, so it's highlighting the work of none of a chef around the area. It's about the winemaker, the owner of the winery. So that's not rebelling about anything, to my opinion. And I think last year,
I think the pairings are important. And so I guess the choice is, do we keep it affordable around $100, which these days for $100, if you've got a bunch of incredible wines, including library releases and rare things. That basically leads you to, not a full-on dinner for $100 in the vineyard with a bunch of pairings. That leaves you to like bite-sized pairings throughout, or a hog roast or something kind of buffet style. Or do you go all in and you do a 6 or 9 course type of thing with pairings throughout as a sort of sit down in the vines dinner? So the only problem with doing that kind of thing is it costs some more, right? So it's amazing, I'm sure. But yeah, which way do we want to go? Sort of a small group thing where you're having this phenomenal 4-hour extravaganza with pairings as a dinner? Or is it more an afternoon thing like what we've done in the past where you're getting some great food to pair with the wines, but it's really much more about the wines, and it's also more affordable. So we have to debate that. If you have ideas, let me know. But so that was BC Winery of the Year. And then members voted for the Ontario Winery of the Year, which is funny because we thought the Ontario one would be the big nail biter, because we had nominated Vineland, Stratus, and Leaning Post, all of which are phenomenal wineries, have treated us so well, have let us have access to some of their very best stuff. And the surprising thing was it was actually quite a landslide for, you ready? Drum roll. It was a landslide for Leaning Post. So that is our new Ontario Winery of the Year. Congrats, Leaning Post.
No offense to any other winery in the country, but it could be Canadian Winery of the Year. It can be this vineyard, this producer, this winemaker, this family are one of the very best. I mean, in terms of the quality of their wine, in terms of the hospitality, in terms of just all around great fucking people. Like plain and simple. Ilya has been involved in the Pan-Canadian Masterclass from the very beginning. Both Nadia and Ilya have been open. Like every time we are in the area, we got like every time, I don't know, I can't count how many bottles we're tasting every time that we get our ass in the tasting room at Leaning Post. But Jesus, that it's always an incredible experience. Really and I have to say, among like Thomas Batchelder, among like Ilya Sanchuk is one of the very, very best winemaker in Canada. Smokes like the ratings in his wines, starting with his bubbles, like his Blanc de Blanc is one of the very best sparkling Chardonnay. Ilya makes the #1 wine of the year this year, and in my second highest rated wine ever that I've done, with the 548 clone Chardonnay, the Sanchuk. So the Sanchuk Pinot Noir has been since 2019 since 2018 one of the very best Pinot. He's working with some of the Grimsby Hillside fruits, and he's not only making outstanding Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. He's working with Riesling like no one else also. So he's one of the very most versatile winemaker. He's not a one-trick pony. He makes outstanding wines with appellations from all over Niagara. From St. David's Bench in the Niagara River appellation all the way to his own appellation in the Lincoln Lake Shore. He is absolutely crushing it in multiple different appellation with multiple different grape varietals. So yes. So James said he had the Sanchuk Chardonnay last night. Yummy. Absolute freakingly. James.
Their home vineyard. That's
Yeah. So which vintage did you had, James? I'm curious to hear the vintage you had. And Daryl says Ilya makes a great Gamay. absolutely makes a great gamay. Affordable also, like $26 or something like that. Like Sauvignon Blanc. He makes some word freaking class Sauvignon Blanc as well. So yeah, I mean it's our winery of the year 2020, Sanchuk Chard. Absolutely, James. I had the privilege to do side by side Sanchuk and Grimsby Hillside Chardonnay, which are like 800 meters apart. And from the 2019 vintage, I think we did also at the winery Mira, we did the 2020 side by side Grimsby and Sanchuk. But I clearly remember the 2019 side by side, which was absolutely out of this world. So yeah. Congratulations, Ilya Sanchuk, Nadia Sanchuk, Leaning Post Winery from the Mecca of winemaking in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
That's where they originated, and they've been at their location in Grimsby, Ontario, there for about 10, 12 years, I think. And I think when they bought the Senchuk vineyard, it was fairly abandoned from what
it was abandoned. It was completely abandoned. Yeah. Mike, the average wine enthusiast. Yeah, the QV Winona, absolutely great wine for under $30. Good red blend, absolutely. And I think it's one of the greatest attributes to Ilya as a winemaker. It's his versatility. So yeah. So James saying that the 20, yeah, and James, I'm with you because 2019 was far and away my favorite vintage for Chardonnay in Niagara. And 19 Sanchuk. 19 Sanchuk really opened my eyes on the top level quality that Leading Post was producing. I had a few 2018 prior to that, but when I tasted the 19s, that's where I realized that holy smokes, this guy is in a different league, and in league of his own with the very few other winemaker in our country. So yeah. So thanks for the insight here, Daryl. Daryl has some insider information from Leaning Post here, saying that the Sauvignon Blanc will be bottled shortly. So we have some insider information from Wine Club members right there.
So long. Everything they make is phenomenal, and that's kind of a theme.
The rosé, also the rosé. Oh yeah, rosé is super awesome too. So
that's a theme with our wineries of the year, and even the nominees. Like everything that Black Market makes in the recent years that I've tasted has been fantastic. Everything De Silva has made in recent years that we've tasted, amazing. These are all previous winery of the years. Same with Bellaterra, same with Riverstone, and now with these two new ones. I mean, I'm just always so excited to see what they release. So James is also saying that 2019 Chard could go for many years yet. I think so. That 19 was just a perfect vintage for Chardonnay, don't you think, Carl? Like
absolutely. 100%.
Structure in it. Hey,
go ahead.
Olivier, our friend Olivier from Quebec City, is saying that if we have events in Niagara in September, he really would like to know because he's hoping to visit Niagara in September. He could plan his trip. So that's the next step, you guys. We're hoping that by Monday we will have our save the date ready to go for these 2 member events. So if you're thinking of going to Wine Country later this year and you can't do the Pan Canadian, or you want to make 2 trips to Wine Country, the Pan Canadian being in June, end of June, in Niagara, then it's a good idea to try and go out when we do these Winery of the Year celebrations, because these are the kinds of experiences that you just can't get otherwise. With the winemaker, often eating food right in the vineyard, tasting barrels, tasting tank samples, tasting back vintages, things that, you just wouldn't be able to do if you just showed up on your own at the winery, right? So.
Oh, absolutely. And I have so much going on in my head about like what we can do with Ilya. I mean, there's a lot of possibility. So it will be a something else. So yes, Olivier, I believe that we would probably plan the Niagara um, Winery of the Year party in September. I will attempt probably to do the BC one a little earlier in the season. But yeah, this still has to be determined with the wineries and all of that. But before we move on to the next to my blind tasting this week, I want to congratulate also all the nominees, because we had some world class wineries nominated on both sides of the country. Not only with world class wineries who produce world class wines, but world class people, world class service, world class teams. So, and right away comes to mind, it's Stratus and Vineland. I mean, we've done great stuff with Stratus last year. Two outstanding tasting at Stratus. Developed some great report with Dean Stoica, the winemaker, which I respect. I have the utmost respect for, and I love his craft, and I love the team at Stratus. And so, congrats for being part of the three nominees. And Vineland, I mean, Brian and Al are, yeah, like everything world class did they do. Wink, wink,
I mean, our
nudge,
first ever
nudge. We are planning right now.
Our first ever tailgating event was with Brian Schmidt there. He is sitting on the tailgate with Al next to him there in the black shirt. I mean, he started that tradition. We've done it many times since now, but he's the one that was like, let's go right in the vineyard and taste the very wine next to the vines and see how one row over, 20 feet over, the wine tastes totally differently. So
yeah,
stuff.
Well, we've seen it after, like we experienced it with Thomas Batchelder in the vines and all that. But yeah, the very first time was with Brian Schmidt. And I mean, we are planning our second Carl's Wine Club wine right now with some of these people. We don't know.
We may be. We're tasting through some possibilities. So very exciting. And Daryl is the lucky recipient of the engraved, personalized bottle, which, by the way, Daryl, we need to find out if you're okay with your name on it or if you prefer a quote or what have you. But we're just working with the engravers to figure out how long the engraving can be and that sort of thing. But Daryl won a bottle of Legacy from Vineland, which is their top Solaris style wine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we all know how the love for Cap Franc that Daryl have. So it's going to be a privilege to share that bottle with you, Daryl. So there's that. Also, on the BC side, I mean, congratulations to Tightrope and Clos du Soleil for an amazing race. Tightrope, I mean, I love what they do there. I just love what they do. I love their portfolio. I love their Riesling. They're going to be one of the rare winery with a barrel of Naramata Bench fruit this year release, 2024 vintage. So a little bit of Riesling coming from the Tightrope Vineyard this year. They make some outstanding Syrah year in and year out. Different Syrah from the south because they are on the bench. So congratulations, Clos du Soleil. I mean, yes. Cool spot in the Similkameen, and we're going to do another feature with them at some point. If it's not this year, it will be early next year, but we love their portfolio and we love what they do. So congrats to all the finalists and to everyone involved. So that was our 2024 Carl's Wine Club Winery of the Year. So
Woo-hoo!
Yeah,
we're so excited. It'll be fabulous. And one thing that we hope that if I can stay up late enough this week, we can meet some of our deadlines for, is our first ever TV series. It's a mini TV series being aired on the TELUS network. We're very grateful for the Story Hive team and TELUS for mentoring us in this first ever mini TV series on the different Okanagan wine regions. So we hope to have a premiere party for that, airing some of these episodes right in the vineyard in BC. And so potentially for the winery of the year, there's going to be a lot to celebrate, especially for the one in BC. There's going to be the premiere of that TV show, the winery of the year, obviously, and also it's our 5-year anniversary. So lots going on. It will be showing up in June for some evening consumption. Oh. Fabulous. I think he's talking about the shareable Cab Franc Magnum with Daryl's name on it.
Probably. Also been I've been playing around with the Alfred application again with the Alfred team today for an hour and a half, learning the platform there. And it's really cool. They're doing some really cool stuff here. So trying to invest a little bit of Carl's Wine Club effort with their Canadian wine database. So some cool stuff.
Yeah, so I think the most unique thing about this, I mean, there's different seller tracker and there's different like apps you can use to track your wines. And I think it is a important thing to do. Like as soon as you have more than 50 or 100 wines, it's good to have a tracking app so you know what's in your cellar, you know what needs to be consumed. When Carl used to consult with wine collectors, he'd come home sometimes with like 10 cases of wine, and we would literally pour them down the drain because people forgot what was in the cellar and went past its, drink by date, and that's unfortunate. So these apps help. But what's unique about Alfred, it's a Quebec-based company, but they're all over the world. And they have the only license with the SAQ for private collectors to actually sell what's in their private cellar. To
sell and buy. So you have access to a whole platform and you can purchase some of the wine for sale from other collectors. These wines are going into inspection before being sold. So everything who's been sold through the platform has been, double checked, making sure that it's the right product, making sure that everything is legit and all that. So, but like really cool stuff.
That's pretty cool. Well, especially because a lot of what gets bought and sold through Alfred is like really high-end collector stuff that people buy as an investment, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It'll be exciting to have some Canadian wine showing up next to some of those labels.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Absolutely.
So what do we have here? I know that you had trouble with one of the bottle, with one of the cork, probably, because there's a few pieces of cork in one of my glass.
Oh, no way! Oh, I thought I got it all out. Yes, I broke it.
Oh, you did? You did fought with one cork?
I did. Yeah, I broke one of the corks.
Oh,
I'm just not like very experienced. Like honestly, with these blind tastings, it's the first time in my life that I've ever opened my own bottles of wine.
Well, you know what? It's good. You haven't cut your finger.
What?
You haven't cut your fingers, so we're good.
Today, I did. I do every time. Like this is probably like the 10th time I've opened a bottle of wine. Maybe 15th. I don't know. How many of these blind tastings have we done on cork wine? I'm married to you, so why would I need to learn how to open a bottle of wine? I mean, you just do it for me. So what's in your glass, Carl Boucher, or your glasses? You have two.
Oh, I mean, these smells fairly similar, so I'm kind of
Yeah, it is important, Mike. It's a good life skill. I didn't use the Enovino. Oh my God, you're right. I usually do. And then I wouldn't have the cork. I didn't even notice the cork got in there, the crumbles from the cork.
So I would say it's the same grape varietal. So you pour two of the same grape varietal in my glass.
Well, that's a very good guess.
The number two, it's more expressive.
Okay.
Number 2 is like really, really expressive. Just jump out of the glass, like get out of my way. It's like boom, an explosion.
Okay.
It's not something that I'm used to.
Yeah.
It's not Merlot. Start with that now. I always start with that.
Merlot.
Is it
You're right.
Merlot?
You're right. Finally, it's not Merlot.
No, it's not Merlot. Fuck that. I know it's not.
You're right. You're right.
Is it Gamay? It's very purple.
It is.
It's fairly thick.
Quite dark.
It's,
Dark and thick.
yeah, it's fairly thick. I can see the legs are like very defined, so fairly concentrated. Floral on the nose, like sanguine, like almost irony, bloody.
Yeah, you're doing a very good description. Somebody's wife broke a Gabriel glass. Are you talking about me? Because I have broken many Gabriel glasses. Or Sandy broke a Gabriel glass. Wow.
Ah, Liz, the tabarnak.
We're down to 2 Gabriel glasses, and I think we've bought maybe 20. So this is a very horrible statistic at our house, but that is. We started buying putty foot in bulk. This is a putty foot, only because they're like $4 in bulk. So and they're quite nice. But the Gabriel glass, you can't compare. I mean, it's such a nice treat to have a wine in that glass. It's an amphitheater for your wine. So yes, everything you've said correct, Carl. Something you don't normally taste. Both glasses have the same varietal. It's not Merlot. It's very sanguine. It's very sort of thicker, purpley, big legs. Yes. All those things. Well, Daryl, I poured the wine and I figured I'd give Carl 2 Gabriels because you don't want to have like one in a Gabriel and one in something else because it's not fair to the wine. I mean, you know.
Outside the fact that number 2 is more expressive on the nose. Yeah, the length, maybe the pulse on the finish is maybe a little longer on number 2. But geez, that these wines are very, very similar.
Yes. Well, same varietal, same producer. So.
Okay. Well,
2 different vintages.
Oh, okay.
What is your guess in terms of BC, Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia? What's your guess?
I mean, it cannot be Quebec. I don't have Quebec wine in here, so I mean, it can't be unless
you don't know what I've been sneaking around with. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I would tempt to say Baco Noir or something like that. I mean, correct. I like that. I like that. I cannot find. It's not Pinot. It's not Merlot. It's definitely not Cap Franc. It's not Cap Sauv Syrah or none of that. So,
well, John is right. We do have like a case and a half of all different Malivoire wines to go through right now. So it would kind of make sense that potentially these are also Malivoires.
Oh, okay. So, right? Okay, that's an okay. Now you guys, I like the call to the thing, like, you know, it's like a TV show. I'm going to call for the crowd, help from the crowd. So the crowd comes in. Or like there's someone for there was some TV show back in the day, or someone's gonna call in and help the guest with the question. So okay, call a friend. Yeah. Okay.
Friends giving you tips here.
I kind of it's an hybrid. And now if it's Malavoie, it's from the case of Malavoie. That's Malavoie Fauche. Because there's not the chance. It's good. I like that, though. I like that for a reason. It's, how can I say that? I'm not huge on hybrids. Like, I'm not, but this is good. This is like, yeah, it's almost like Nova Scotia-like profile. It's bright, it's fresh. There's a pulse into that, and that's irony component of it. I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because it's lower alcohol at like 12%, 12%, both at 12%, both super dry, like 0 grams per liter. And if I look on their website, the 2020 is no longer. So you have a 2020 there. It's no longer being sold, but I'm guessing they're wanting to give us sort of like library access to it. And the 2021 is at a pretty good price. What would you guess for the price on these?
Well, knowing that it's Fauche now, and I would say it's probably $23 or under.
Yeah, it's $25 including tax.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's so BC. Which one is like number 2 is the 2021 and number 1 is 2020? Or how's that work with your?
Well, first of all, I lost you. I don't know where you are on my screen anymore. But oh, here we go. I was trying to research. See, too much research after you have 5 different wines. So number 1, good thing I numbered everything. See, you got to keep it basic with me with this stuff.
Okay, I have to say, people, listen, this girl can write a freaking like a software from start to finish. She can explain the whole, like some like nuclear concept to doctors how smart it is. But when it's time to 2 bottles of wine, she needs to label them and tag them with an arrow and with almost like a little rope to tag to each other.
Well, I just don't think of wine that way. Wine is my buddy. So number 1 is 2020. Number 2 is 2021.
Okay.
So the one you said that is more like vibrant and like
that was more expressive and that's more of a pulse.
Which is interesting because 2020 was sort of a bigger, rounder vintage, less depth of color versus Bacco. What would you say, Carl, on that?
I would say it's fairly dark. It's fairly thick. It's really dark purple. So, I mean, yeah, it's more violet than deep purple as Bacco. So I would say not as deep and dark because Bacco can be really like opaque. Yeah. So it's not.
Yeah, I'd say darker. Yeah. So there you have it too. But ready for a very quick history lesson and then I'll let you guys go. On the back, I really like what it says, so I'll just read it. Albert Malavoire's most honored achievement came when he was a teenage private in the Royal Guernsey Light Infantry in 1917. This small tribute to my great uncle, a courageous wine full of heart, marks the days and months he spent in the mud of Passchendaele. Albert never spoke of heroism for his deeds, and he was awarded the Légion d'honneur, the French equivalent of knighthood. From vines planted more than 50 years ago, Albert's honor is made with Maréchal Foch, a French hybrid grape named after military genius Ferdinand Foch, which I did not know. So it's named after a military guy, Ferdinand Foch. But that's Albert's honor, Old Vines Foch. 50-year-old vines for a hybrid. I mean, that's
it's deep. It's deep. There's some depth. There's some layers. I mean, it's a good wine. This with anything barbecue?
I think so. I mean, that's the thing about hybrids. If they're well made, which I think these ones are really well made, 50-year-old
Absolutely,
vines,
100%.
you're going to get with 50-year-old vines, you're going to get that nice depth of color and flavor and concentration and some complexity. So I think this is a great thing, and also great if you're blind tasting your friends. Because unless they really know their wines, and especially their Canadian wines, they're going to have a very hard time guessing what the heck it is. But yeah, I love this story. And in Canada, especially 50-year-old vines are rare. Is it Maréchal Foch, Carl, that is the typical rootstock for a lot of wines in Canada?
No.
No. What is the indigenous grape rootstock that's usually used? Is it
No, I mean, but like, yeah, Foch can be, but I mean, everything got ripped out, in the
yeah, so
80s and planted with vinifera.
yeah, but what's
So,
interesting, like I don't know if a lot of people know this, but a lot of the grapes that are in Canada have a root stock that is an indigenous grape, something like Maréchal Foch, something more of a hybrid, and then they graft on at the root like Chardonnay or Pinot Noir or whatever, because that way the root is less likely to die if there is an extreme cold weather event like we had in BC this last year.
yeah, but it was not at the very beginning when they ripped out the whole with the program, the vinifera program. This method was not necessarily something that they knew it would work very well. So now it's more obvious these days to see maybe, oh, that we should have done that. But
But no, that's the ironic thing is they found with the deep freeze of 2024 that a lot more of the own rooted vines
yeah,
survived. So
yes,
now,
I know, but there's not a ton of that. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
So the
There's
own
not a
rooted
lot.
just
So.
means that if it's a Chardonnay vine, it actually has a Chardonnay root as well. So it's
Mhm.
rooted versus having like a hybrid root and then having other. It was also for disease. I think it was also something to do with maybe phylloxera and some of these diseases that made it less susceptible when it's
Um,
different rootstock. I have no idea, but I just think it's fascinating. So I do think Maréchal Foch plays a bigger role in the Canadian wine industry than we might think, because we don't normally drink it, right, Carl? It's fairly rare that we pick up a Maréchal Foch.
Absolutely, very, very rare.
Yeah, but anyway, interesting stuff, and I love the story behind this one and the fact that it's 50-year-old vine. So if you're going to buy a Maréchal Foch, I think this Malivoire one is probably the way to go. More Baco Noir fan versus the Cap Henry Pelham Baco rules. Yes, there are some phenomenal Bacos out there.
Oh, Baco Reserve also from Suan, really, really, really good. I mean, this Foch is very well made. I can't really remember to say like, oh no, this was my very favorite Foch.
Because we don't drink very many of them.
That's it, right? So what I can say is I'm just sitting here, I'm tasting that, and I'm saying for $25 all in, this is a good wine. This is a good wine. I like that, and I can see that with something smoking on the barbecue, enhancing this wine even more.
That bacon we had recently, my mom brought over some bacon from Vancouver.
Yeah, then there's a nice frame of acidity as well in that Foch. So that nice frame of acidity can cut through the fat of the bacon. Absolutely.
A mini vertical of Foch from 50-year-old vines with a big bucket of bacon and some maple syrup to dip it in. I think you can't get more Canadian than that. I mean,
watching a hockey game.
Oh yeah, there you go. Now you got it.
I mean,
my God.
There you go.
Heart.
There you go.
Bacon. Well, what you need is, and you know what? I tried this, guys. I tried the bacon dipped in chocolate. You got to go with the dark chocolate. Okay, I tried it with the milk. Not as good. You got to go like with really dark chocolate and just a dip. You don't need the whole thing dipped in. I've tried this. Okay, I put it on my story a while ago. But yes, maple syrup and a little bit of like warm dark chocolate. And you dip a bit of the bacon and one of those with the Maréchal Foch. I mean, talk about for probably under $40, $20 for two per person. Talk about a sweet night in. There you go. 100% dark. Yes, I totally agree with the bacon. I mean, you just need something that's a little.
Now, Mira, have a sip of the Forgotten Row now after some Foch.
Okay, so Forgotten Row is this one.
LR, yeah.
LR. What does LR stand for?
That was for Lost Row.
Oh. I love it.
Oops. How good is that?
Oh my God.
Hey?
It just brings out the flavors.
I know, eh? I know. The oak just absolutely it's really fucking good.
I think that Forgotten Row, out of all the wines, it has the most wine missing from it. So that is my wine of the night, the Forgotten Row Chardonnay from Malivoire.
Hey, I have to say, guys, in 5 years of Wine Wednesday, I believe that we just spent the longest time talking about hybrid.
Yes, probably.
In 5 years. In the most gracious words of all. Like, I mean, usually it's like, snip, snip, go. I don't care. It's hybrid. Let's move on. And I think John Lewis mentioned about Monte Creek as a Foch as well. Yes, you're right. And there's also there's some Foch in the Uppenhands. That's one of their blend that there's Foch in it. Absolutely, you are right, John. Well done, my friend. So 6:20 Pacific.
I feel like at some point we'll have to do like a trivia night, because I think you guys know a lot of Canadian wine trivia now. So we'll be like, what winery in a little-known region in BC carries a Maréchal Foch? It starts with the letter M. And John will be like, Monte Creek.
There you go. Absolutely. I mean, hey, that might be something that we should do at maybe at our welcome reception at the Pan Canadian.
Wow, this is a very good idea.
Wine trivia. I mean, they're doing it at there's a couple wineries who are doing it right now, wine trivia night. So
or maybe every week now we start posting a little bit of trivia based on what we talked about for Wine Wednesday. And
too much time on your hand. That's awesome.
Hey, you got to do something productive when you're scrolling on your phone. You might as well answer trivia. Maybe win a prize or something. It's better than not doing that.
Sure. I mean.
Anyway. So first trivia question will be, what winery in Ontario makes a Maréchal Foch that with 50-year-old vines in honor of what do you call it? Albert, who won the Légion d'honneur in the First World War. And you'll be like, Malivoire. But you might have to call a friend. So, okay. All right. Well, we'll let you guys have a great night. Hope you enjoyed chatting.
Mira's having fun right now, guys. So, there you go.
That's good. That's good. See, we had a nice,
Mike, Mike has the quote of the week. Wine is my buddy.
There you go. It's a good buddy. That's a good buddy to have. Oh, I said that. Yes, I did. Actually, I did. Yeah. My buddy, I don't try to get fancy with it. Yeah. Yes. All right. Have a great night, you guys. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for buying Canadian wine.